Typically with mass production or mass adoption of a new product, prices go down. But it seems like e-bike prices might actually be creeping up instead. So what's really going on? In the title of this video, I put, "Are e-bike prices going up?" Yes, they are. I'm going to share with you 5 different reasons why e-bike prices are higher than they were a year ago and what I think is going to happen going forward. I've seen the prices going up among various brands of electric bicycles.
As you already know, we're unfortunately increasing the prices of our juiced e-bikes. Gimme Cruiser all-terrain electric fat bike, it used to be $13.99. Rat Power bikes were known for $14.99 prices, now they are $200 more. Last Chance e-bike prices increase April 4th 4. I am broken.
And even here at Bolton e-bikes, we've been creeping some of the prices up. The number one thing I see mentioned on many of these notices or emails is about the 25% tariff. And I've already talked about that in previous videos, so we're going to come back to that at the very end and jump to some things that you may not be aware of. Number 2 on this list is going to be the exchange rate between the US and China. If we go back about 6 months, we can see that the US dollar has lost about 4% of its buying power. And if we go back 12 months, a year ago from today, it's nearly 8%. That means that when I am buying parts or pieces from China to make electric bicycles, I'm having to spend 8% more to get the same exact thing. Number 3 is probably something you are aware of because of the latest debacle in the Suez Canal. Now, although that wasn't directly related to e-bikes and price increases over the past year or so, when you have thousands and literally thousands of containers on each ship, and you have potentially hundreds of ships delayed going to various countries, it really can cause a problem with freight all over the world. But prices were increasing even before that, based on the information I was able to dig up and find online, and also just kind of confirming that with my own experience of importing container loads of goods. The price has increased over the past year by 240% to ship a 40-foot container from China to the west coast of the United States. 1 year ago today, it might have cost a little over $2,000, and today, that same container cost over $5,000. Number 4 is going to be the supply and demand globally for materials. Some brands like Tektro are now saying that lead times for brakes are into 2023. We're 2 years out. What happens here in the US is that you start to see less discounts. Usually discounts or sales are used as a tactic to get your business and get you to buy. But when people don't have enough bikes to sell, there's really no incentive to give you a discount. Generally speaking, people are talking about increases in raw materials to make electric bikes of about 10%. And number 5 on this list, before I get back to the discussion on the tariff, is long lead times. This kind of goes along with the supply and demand, but I see another potential problem with this. As an example, for the brakes I mentioned from Tektro, if the lead time is really 2 years just to get those brakes, how many businesses or companies actually have cash on hand to buy parts a year in advance, 18 months, or 24 months? Now, this is just my opinion, but I think that many businesses are going to be put into a position where they may have to take out a loan or use a line of credit to get the parts that they need a year or 2 in advance. So let's say you need a loan and it costs you 5% interest. Well, that means effectively your cost of goods has gone up another 5% because of that loan. So this is another way that the cost is being increased and is going to be passed on to you, the consumer. And finally, back to number 1, the tariff. But I want to clear up a little bit of miscommunication, I think, that's being portrayed often, and that is that the tariff is the sole cause of the price increases, and it is the biggest chunk of it. I'm not gonna lie, 25% is a big chunk of money.
We're taking in right now hundreds of billions of dollars. We're taking in billions of dollars of tariffs.
I have personally paid a lot of money towards tariffs this year. The tariff has never really gone away since it was put in place during the Trump administration. You see, the 25% tariff was put into place on certain products, one of them being electric bicycles. There were exceptions granted, but that exception only lasted for a few months. Once that time frame ended, the exception was extended again and again, and multiple times it was extended until December 31st of 2020. Nobody knew what was going to happen with the presidential election, if that tariff would be extended yet again, or would it be taken away completely. And the truth is, based on the prices I was seeing for electric bikes, I think most e-bike companies believed that the tariff would come back because the exemption expired, but that sometime in early 2021, the Biden administration would remove the tariff from China and reverse what had been done, but it didn't happen. How much of a difference does this actually make? Let's take a $1,000 fictitious electric bike that doesn't exist. Yes, we would have some shipping costs to get over to the United States. There, of course, is an overhead with any business, but it's reasonable to say that an e-bike company might, after their shipping costs and overhead, sell that bike for $2,000 with free shipping and still make a decent profit. But what happens if they try and do that today with the same bike, same components, and same specifications? Well, first we have to start with the cost. Is the bike still $1,000? And as I told you before, I've heard from some of my own suppliers that costs are increasing to the e-bike manufacturers of about 10%. So instead of that bike costing me $1,000, maybe it's costing me $1,100. And all of that is due to supply and demand globally for raw materials. Now, based on 1 year ago from today, we have a nearly 8% difference in the conversion rate between the US dollar and that renminbi. If we add another 8% to that cost, now instead of $1,100, the bike is going to cost me $1,188. I have to add another 25% on top of the cost for the current tariff, bringing my cost from $1,000 up to $1,485. And because I had to wait 2 years to get the bikes in the first place, let's say I had to take out a loan and it increased my costs on those bikes another 5%. Now my realistic cost for that bike is $1,559. We've taken a $1,000 bike a year ago, and today, for exactly the same bike, the cost has gone up over 50% with all of those things added in. And we're still not done yet. We still have to account for the increased shipping cost to the US, which is gonna add another $50, maybe $100. And once you add in the overhead of a business, you can see how you can no longer sell that same $1,000 bicycle for $2,000. Now, is there any good news amidst all this gloom and doom? Yes, one is that here at Bolton e-bikes, I have been stocking up on components overseas well in advance to make sure that we keep up with the production and demand for 2021, 2022, and possibly even beyond. And then we are designing new e-bike models to use those same components. So you'll see some new models coming out from Bolton e-bikes later this year with relatively short lead times because we've already been bulking up on the majority of the components that are needed to build those bikes. I will be releasing more about those bikes in the YouTube membership videos over the coming weeks. If you click that join button below this video, you can get some more detail on how the YouTube membership works. Finally, there still are some deals to be had on e-bikes. I did a video recently about a bike being launched on Indiegogo right now. There's just a few days left on that campaign, so if you want a great deal on an electric, full suspension, all-wheel drive mountain bike with tons of power and tons of battery capacity, make sure to go check out that video right here.